It's an update on Bitcoin Cash, and it should come as no surprise that the probability of us having that lower low has gone up significantly over the past week. We've seen some downward action, not just in Bitcoin Cash, but many of the other cryptos as well. Actually, all the cryptos, as well as the equity space. So this is the 1 hour short-term chart in Bitcoin Cash. And we had what looked like possibly a leading diagonal forming. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4 fourth wave correction in place, and we're looking for a sharp fifth wave bounce, but it never came. We're looking to break 391 to give us a bit more confidence that we would actually have the bullish setup in place, but instead we've actually taken a turn for the worse. And well, we're in the midst of a relatively sharp bounce at the moment, but we've gone down as low as 268, with the main validation point coming not too far below that. If we break 260, that's where I have my alert set. Then the bullish pattern for the immediate upside immediately invalidates, and it would immediately make the red pattern my primary. Now, just quick disclaimer here, we've actually had this happen in at least two of the coins that I follow, Chainlink, and it was the other one was well, not Bitcoin Cash, but Polygon. So Polygon and Chainlink both broke their supports. That support is basically the low that we hit earlier this year. So for most coins, that falls on February the 24th, but in many coins, January 24th. And Bitcoin Cash is extra special because it actually had a double bottom. It hit the same low twice, right at 260. So that is a strong hint that that is a strong support. Breaking that would absolutely put us in the red camp relatively quickly. Now, if you're trying to be a little bit more risk averse, you want to unload some coins, you can do that. I have personally unloaded 50% of my positions across different cryptos, but for most people, it's going to make more sense to hold through the crash because these things are relatively short-lived anyway, and it's often it's often riskier selling than just buying the dip. So we'll look at that more, but momentarily. But in the short term, we do have our first wave down, second wave bounce, and unlike most of the other altcoins, we had a very sufficient, very standard-looking second wave bounce. Doesn't have a clear three-wave structure, but it did hit exactly the 61.8% retrace of the first wave, and we are almost certainly in the third wave right now. So look for us to break down through 260 relatively quickly. We should break support and confirm the red pattern relatively quick once it comes around, even though we are seeing a bit of a bounce now. This should take us back down to the low 200s range with our ultimate bottom possibly falling somewhere below 180. So shifting the log chart, of course, it'll count a bit differently, but I haven't really changed too much yet. We have red and green. The green pattern, it doesn't officially evaluate until we break our 260 major support, where we have the alert set. And well, we've all but invalidated. So right now we're looking at this as being a C wave off the B wave top in September, early September. So again, from our May 2021 top, we have what we're calling an A wave down, B wave bounce, and then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. We could have counted that as 5 waves, but this is looking like it counts better as possibly a 1, 2. The whole thing could be a 3, 4, and a 5 to come. Probably more of an ending diagonal kind of structure for the C wave. That should take us down in this pink box if we break that support, and that is based on this A wave and an extension off the A and the B. Typically, we'll see the C wave get to the 1.0 extension. That would put us at 185. I could see us going down the low 100s. I can't imagine us going too much lower. 1.32 is about as much of an extension as I would expect to see, especially when you look at the history of Bitcoin Cash. Typically, your C waves are not that much longer than the A waves. So expect us to visit the upper half of this box for a pullback. Now, looking back at the history of not just Bitcoin Cash, but many of the other coins, when you look at the crashes we've had, typically there's a very sharp reversal back. It's happened multiple times, including the crash that we saw in the spring and into the summer of 2021. We see the same thing way back in December of 2018. We just fell off a cliff here, got down to $75, and within a matter of, not even a week, matter of days, we're back at 227. So 74 to 227. If I'm doing my math right, that's a 3x return in a matter of days. So again, don't sleep on this. No matter all the doom and gloom we were seeing, I don't expect this to be the start of a new bear market. I know that that's what a lot of people are thinking, not just on my channel, but across many other financial sites, news sites, that it's the end of the world. We have hyperinflation, all that nonsense that's driving all this. Remember, this is all following the patterns that follows on its own. We tend to attribute news stories to the price movements. Oftentimes it's the other way around. It's often the price movements that cause the news stories to be generated. Now I'm going to shift over to the Dow just to represent our equity space, in which we're seeing very similar action, in which we had a bottom on February 24th, 3 waves up, and we never got a legit 5th wave up. This is best classified as an A and a B, and we're in the midst of completing a C wave down. We could see lower. So we've had the same kind of setup in the equity space, the stock market, in which it looked like we were about to rally, but we've actually turned back around, and we're very likely still completing the correction that began quite a long time ago. Actually, this correction, you could consider it to have begun in November, or you could take the top in January as the actual top. Either way, we are very likely getting very close to the bottom. So once that happens, it's going to be BTFD galore. Get your buying plans ready if you are looking to increase your allocation or buy back in. If you've taken some profit off your Bitcoin Cash or any of your other cryptos for that matter, look for this to be a good buy opportunity. And as I mentioned, there is confluence between the big picture, but 185 down to 105 would be our bottoming target. 185 to 105, that looks about right. This 1-2 and the Fibonacci extension do seem to align with what we're seeing in the big picture. So that's a relatively high confidence target for us to hit down. Once again, once we finish, we should see a colossal reversal, not just in the crypto space, but the same thing in the equity space, the stock market. We are long due for, well, it's been a very prolonged correction. And usually after you have correction this long, you will take off like a rocket. So it could be a pretty spectacular summer of rallying, but not without some short-term pain and some short-term bleeding. And well, if you're planning to buy, you're going to be called crazy. People are going to tell you it's nuts, that the bull market's been long over, that the world is ending. That's usually a good sign you're at the bottom. You have to be able to exhaust all the bearish sentiment. So once all the bears are done selling, that's when the market spontaneously reverses. So eyes on the prize. Don't lose hope yet. Subscribe so that you don't miss any of my updates. I'll be putting up more community posts most likely, just because I can get those out more quickly than I can my crypto updates. If you enjoyed my video, don't forget to give me a like. Till next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.